International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group have, in the just concluded meetings in Washington, D.C., acknowledged Nigeria's progress in implementing economic reforms, including the liberalization of the exchange rate regime, which has helped lower sovereign credit spreads. The World Bank also expressed support for the federal government's job creation plan, particularly in stimulating private sector investments in digital infrastructure to create high-quality jobs for young Nigerians, but also warned Nigeria to remain vigilant in the face of mounting global trade tensions and tightening financial conditions, which could impact the country's earnings from commodity exports. To discuss further on the takeaways from the IMF and Spring Bank meetings is Dr. Chijioke Ikechukwu. He's a CEO, Dignity Finance Investment, or Bristol Investment. You're welcome to Network News at 9.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Okay, Doctor, a quick one. How should Nigeria leverage the IMF and World Bank's support to accelerate its economic reforms and possibly achieve inclusive growth amid global uncertainties?
For many years of our existence, we've always known that IMF and World Bank are very good partners for us in economic growth. They have always been there, giving their own consultancy and supporting financially and supporting economically. And so what we have to do at all times is to ensure, in the first place, there is a good relationship existing amongst us, and secondly, to ensure that we meet all obligations that we have with them in order for us to be in a good relationship with them. Of course, before we approach IMF and World Bank, we need to go with whatever thing we think should be our benefits. And of course, things we're taking to the table, because usually relationships of this nature are always a win-win thing. They benefit from our relationship, we benefit from theirs. Whenever there is a good relationship in such environment, you can always expect that everybody will be happy to be in it.
Okay, talking about symbiotic relationships now, in the light of recommendations, what's your take on efforts being taken to strengthening macroeconomic buffers in the slowing inflation as well as boosting growth, particularly in Nigeria?
All we have to do is just to ensure that we sustain the growth pattern. We have seen that we are gradually growing our economy, and all the indices are showing up and looking up. We have also seen that the reforms of government are being accepted and acceptable to international economy and international participants. And so we are going to continue in that light and to sustain what we're doing that is actually making our economy to peak gradually. I'm sure you see that most of the indicators are just looking up, and we have to continue to do that. I'm sure you know Rome was not built in a day, and it requires some gradual efforts. And once we continue to do that, we are going to be where we want to be.
Okay, lastly, before I let you go, what do you think Nigeria should be doing at this time to balance opportunities and risks of expanded intra-African trade, which is the conversation now, particularly taking advantage of the AFCFTA at a time of trade wars?
It's an opportunity for us, as a matter of fact. When we have a lot of trade wars and the tariff wars happening between Africa and the Western world, we need to look inwards. We already have all the trade agreements with Africa and West Africa, as the case may be. What we need to do is just to benefit from the relationships we already have. Africa is so blessed because there is nothing we want from the Western world we cannot get from within Africa. And every country of the world has one thing or the other they can offer to the world. Africans have a lot they can offer to themselves, and all we need to do is just to ensure that we seek what we want from within Africa, and it will just be win-win for every African country. And that way, but of course, for us to optimize our membership of FCTA, we need to continue to produce so that we have a lot to offer to the African market.